everybody, and welcome to the Two Player Podcast with Matt Licks Games and Hamathy Solo. Enjoy the show. Everybody, and welcome to the Two Player Podcast with Matt Likes Games and Ham Solo. Enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Two Player Podcast with Matt Licks Games and Hamathy Solo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Two Player Podcast. Ham Solo is not here today. Ham's visiting family. I told him he can take the day off. I've instead got my friend Mike here. We're gonna be doing a relatively shorter show than we would normally do. This podcast isn't very long to begin with, but 45 minutes, an hour maybe is what we'll be doing today. Very relaxed. It is the holidays. We're not trying to we're not IGN over here. We're not IGN over here. So before we get into any of the actual news, Mike, how are you? What have you been playing? And just let it fly, bud.
Let it fly. Oh, I will. Not to begin the show on much of a bummer, but on a personal note, after a month-long, essentially battle, unfortunately, my grandmother passed away last night. So, that's been a bit rough, but, no, she's at peace now. I'm just happy that, she's at rest now, and everything's okay now because of that. But Other than that, though, just kind of like prefer being honest about that.
That's
So
fine.
as you know, Matt, it's kind of been, a bit of a crazy month. But overall,
Yes.
though, I'm okay. Everyone else is okay, and we, in the end, everyone will be okay. So onto the
Yeah.
games, though. Really,
And I'll
I've
I'll
just been
say
playing.
I appreciate you being on.
Oh,
I very much appreciate you being on, especially with the week you've had.
yeah,
Um,
I
I
appreciate that
would
too,
not
buddy.
have blamed
You're
you
welcome.
if you said you couldn't do it. I would not have blamed you at all. So I appreciate it. I definitely
Yeah,
appreciate it.
you're more than welcome, man. I mean, we're friends, and I always enjoy being on your show, regardless. So I'm glad to be here, and it gets my mind off things, and that's kind of all it really is at the end of the day. And I know my grandma would want me to be doing things that make me happy, anyways. So on to the
Yeah.
games, though, just to
Hmm.
liven up the mood a bit. I have been playing tons and tons of Blood, um, which is a retro shooter that came out in 1997. It is fucking incredible. It's built on the Build engine, which is the same engine as Duke Nukem, Shadow Warrior, also the modern retro, boomer shooter called Ion Fury, which used to be called Ion Maiden before they got forced to change the name, which makes me sad because that's such a fucking awesome name. But oh well. Um, I've been playing, yeah, but anyways, I've been playing tons of Blood. This game to me is genuinely really special because I don't really particularly enjoy much shooters actually from this period outside of maybe Doom, but mostly I feel like that's kind of like a nostalgic enjoying it rather than I'm playing it to like get like super amped up. Um,
Yeah.
Blood, on the other hand, feels really special to me. I can't really explain just how grounded this game feels. It's something really special about this game, and as you know, Matt, I've been playing it what feels like non-stop now for. I probably have at least 60 hours on this game, I'd imagine. Mostly playing, the main game to mods, to add-ons, yada yada. It's just been a great time playing it. Um,
Yeah.
outside of that, I've been playing some Halo Firefight with you. That's been awesome.
It has.
Um, that's been freaking insane. We need to play some Battlefield 2042 soon. I know you downloaded that.
I
Um,
did.
uh, what else was I gonna say? What else have we been playing? We've been playing a few things. Elden Ring Seamless Co-op, which we need to get
Yeah.
back to doing. Um,
Vort says you should
that's
stream some of them.
You should stream some of that. I do. I stream on Twitch, bud.
Yeah, he
Um,
streams on Twitch. Just go to Twitch, type in Hard Days Mike. He's there.
yeah, that's
Uh,
where I do stream. Unfortunately, it's mostly just because I do get some money from streaming there. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have more of an incentive to stream there.
he's a millionaire.
Um, oh yeah. But no, but seriously, it's just more so because I've been streaming there for so long. It's not about the
He's
money. I mean,
Tim the
what?
Tap Man.
Yeah, I am literally Tim the Tap Man. We
He's
we
Tim the
we
Tap
we
Man.
do duos.
Yep.
Um, but no, it's mainly because I'm just partnered there, and I have no idea how any of that crap works. So I'd rather not mess with it. But yeah, I've been having fun with that. Seamless Elden Ring is fucking psychotic.
Yeah.
Like genuinely psychotic. Um, I think I realized something too, Matt, as we were playing the other day. Remember how like when we kept dying, we got all those like negative affixes and stuff, and they didn't go away until we like sat at a site of grace. I think that's the way for them to try to balance out the fact that you can almost essentially keep going into a fight over and over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
If your friend's still
Yeah.
alive, like, it's like remember that I got one tap by like dust at one point. Like um
Yeah.
so it's kind of like I think their way of trying to balance all of that out. And I think it's great personally. I think I think it's so much fun to play that game co-op. I think it's still just as hard. But
Yeah.
um but yeah, I'm
I
having a blast.
I would be down to stream Elden Ring co-op.
Oh, we have me too. Yeah, definitely.
I'd be interested to see. I need to upgrade my PC, but I'd be interested to see because Elden Ring's not the most well optimized game, and
No, it's not.
I'd be interested to see what happens when I'm running OBS and streaming in
Elden Ring.
1080p.
Dude,
Uh,
when I, oh,
yeah.
sorry, go on. I just wanted to say real quick, I put on ray tracing for that game. Mind you, and my computer went to kill itself. I don't have a like dollar store PC. Like I have a 4080, an i7 13700K, 32 gigs, and my computer just fucking like just was like, no, that's not happening. And the game like looked the same too in the end. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell the point of that is.
Yeah, ray
But
tracing doesn't make much of a difference in Elden Ring. Unless you're like
I know,
in a very
yeah.
certain areas, it doesn't really make any difference.
It was like I like when I'm going to fight what's that dude with the tail and there's a pain in the fucking
Margit the
Margit,
Fell
yeah.
Omen.
Margit, yeah. Um, dude, like
Margaret.
that, my frames in that area were like non-existent. I was like, all right, yeah, no more of this. But that's been fun, and we need to get Skyrim seamless co-op working because I think that would just be one of
Yeah,
the best experiences in gaming,
definitely.
personally.
Definitely.
So what about you? What have you been up to? How have you been, Matthew McConaughey?
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. It is all I know. It is all I care about, and is the only thing I will ever care about, ever again. Is Marvel's Guardians of the
go.
Galaxy. I bought that like 2 years ago, and I never played it. And then I just figured,
That is
hey,
I remember when you did. I literally remember when you bought that game and just never fucking played it. I remember that.
if Ham was here, he'd give me shit about it because he. That was when, like, soon after we first started talking, all of us.
Yep.
And Ham was like, I'm thinking about getting Riders, like a few games, Riders Republic, Guardians of the Galaxy, and whatever. And I'm like, oh, you should wait till they're on sale because it's like Black Friday soon or whatever. It'll be on sale. And he's like, you know what? Good call. And then I went out and got both of got both
That
of them not on sale. I didn't even take my own advice because I'm a piece of shit and I don't know how to control my impulses.
that is
So,
just
and then I
that
never
it's
played
just,
them.
dude. I still remember that voice chat with Ham of just being like, I got him. Like I remember that,
Yeah, I
dude.
got them.
Like
And
I remember even the game I was playing, like it's fucking any like hidden fact that I'd be playing Doom Eternal though.
you're playing, yeah.
Yeah, but like, dude, that is just so fun. And I just remember as the days go by, you're like, yeah, I gotta play it. I gotta play it. I gotta
I
play
never
it.
play it.
I'll get to
Never.
playing it. You bought another game. It's like,
Yep.
oh,
And
that's me though.
that's my problem. And that's honestly one of my New Year's resolutions. I mean, there's a lot of real life resolutions, but then there's also like smaller things like how I spend way too much money on games and often don't finish them unless it's uh like a once in a like Starfield. Like if it's
Yeah.
Starfield, God of War Ragnarok, Red Dead Redemption 2, stuff like that I finish, but like I buy I've had to spend well over $1,000 on games. Like way more than
Fucking
$1,000 on
insane.
games.
Wait, and
That-
how many days? Like, in how many years is that combined?
I
Wait,
mean
what do you mean? Sorry.
I mean think
I thought you
about
said in the last year. I thought you said in the last year. You
well
spent,
the
like,
thing is
$1,000.
maybe. That's the thing.
Honestly, yeah, I can see that.
Because
Yeah.
it's like you figure new games that aren't on sale $70. We'll just say $70 because that's the thing now. $70.
Yeah.
And then you figure tons and tons of things that are on sale from Steam, from Xbox. I was going to say PlayStation, but really nothing from PlayStation except for Spider-Man. And so I figure at least 800 probably this year on games that I haven't beaten. And God knows how much I've spent this generation. So that's one of those things I need to get better at. And that's what I'm trying to do. I beat Immortals of Avium. That game is really, really fun. That story is off the fucking wall. It's actually pretty good towards the end. But the story was pretty for most of the game. But the gameplay was fun. Beat that game. Now I'm playing Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And then after that, probably I need to beat Dragon's Dogma because Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out in March. But I also want to beat Hogwarts Legacy. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But one of those two games I'll be playing after that. I really haven't been playing much else besides Guardians of the Galaxy. Halo, Firefight, Call of Duty. I think that's about it. But getting into the actual topics today, it's enough about what we've been playing and all that stuff. Topics. This episode, like I said, is going to be a little bit shorter, so it's kind of a little bit of news and a little bit of a retrospective on 2023 as a whole. Gaming wise, not in the world, because the world's fucked. But just talking about gaming, we're saying here. But let's go first off. I feel like we should probably talk about GTA 5 source code being leaked alongside a bunch of GTA 6 and Bully 2 content. I still haven't beat Bully. I got that game years ago. I still haven't beat Bully.
Bully's a great game. I've been playing that game. I feel like dude, Bully's such a good game. That game is just incredible.
It is.
And
I
want another. So good. It's just so good. Sorry. All right. Continue.
It is a very fun game. But yes, hackers have leaked GTA 5 source code
I'm sorry.
and a plethora of content from GTA 6 and Bully 2. It is unclear if the content dump comes from the infamous Rockstar Games hack, but it has been suggested that one of the individuals who leaked the hack material is known to the developer, who has sued them multiple times in the past. God, like, Rockstar is just
Wait
a
a minute.
target.
So let me get this straight. The person that probably hacked them is like someone they've wronged in the past or something. Well, wronged, or they think it was wronged in the past, or like, wait, I'm like kind of confused. Can you say that
Well,
again?
the way
Like-
this sounds is it's the person who hacked them is known to the developer.
Oh, okay,
Meaning
okay,
that
now
this
I get
is
you.
probably somebody who's hacked them before. Probably, it's probably not from the same thing that happened last year, but this is from this is done by somebody who probably hacked them before. And Rockstar is aware of this person and apparently has sued them multiple times in the past. And they
Okay, now I got you.
they continue to hack
Okay.
them.
I thought you said they sued Rockstar.
No.
Sorry, my brain.
Imagine hacking
That's
Rockstar and then
insane.
suing them.
Yeah,
Just
that's freaking
preemptively suing them.
insane.
Losing all of your money.
Rockstar, right? Dude, Rockstar has been just going through it like in
Right.
ways I can't even imagine.
They've been going through it. They put a fucking kid in a mental hospital for the rest of his life. they got some.
Have you heard though the story on that kid? I know you're like making a joke, really, because like we've talked about this. I'm pretty sure, but that kid's fucking nuts.
Yeah, he's got to be
Like-
insane because he's in prison or he's in jail, and they're asking him like, "Are you gonna stop doing this?" And he's like, "Absolutely not. Definitely
Yeah,
not."
he's like in like some type of like mental mental medical hospital type thing. He's like been known for apparently he hacked something with just a fire stick. The kid's a fucking menace. Like,
Which is
you're like, he
why.
hacked something that was just like,
Which is why if I'm Rockstar, well, forget Rockstar. If I'm the U.S. government, I'm like, yo, you're working for the CIA. You're working for
you're
the
like-
CIA now. And it's like that's non-negotiable. You either work for the CIA or you're in jail for literally the rest of your life. Which one is it?
yeah. Which
And-
one is it?
And
Oh my god.
because that kid's a machine, honestly.
Yeah.
But okay, so the GTA 5 source code's been leaked, and obviously you were talking about before the show that this opens up a lot of avenues to do way more in-depth mods on the PC side of things for GTA 5. Now that the source code is officially out there, and you can just access it apparently,
Yep.
which is pretty damn wild. Like all these years later, 10 years later, over 10 years later, the source code's for GTA 5 is out there. People are in it and making pretty crazy mods. So you brought this up before the show. Have you seen any mods in particular that caught your eye?
So something that apparently is coming out is that people are I can't remember the name of the modder, but there is a man that is making a mod for GTA that is going to allow to be heists to be done offline.
Oh, nice.
And so like, yeah, which is really cool to me. They're gonna rework it so you can play them offline and do any one you want. They're gonna have to do a bit of tweaking though because they are very much kind of multiplayer focused. But there's just a giant list of possibilities now, of what can be done and what they can make because it's the source code. It's not just like, oh, some files, like, oh, here's an animation of like Trevor dancing or something like that. It's like literally source codes. There's like code, there's like source, there's like some code you can see where Rockstar's like, this shit is fucking broken. Have you seen some of those screenshots, dude? They're fucking funny. It's
Yeah, I saw like someone in the code just someone in the
like,
code, God bless him, was yeah, he's like, just fucking kill me.
and I was like, it's like we're like seeing like the absolute innards of like that game, and it's tragic for the people that worked on it. But as for people that love modding and people that have been modding, it's kind of really cool because of that. But it's not, the situation in itself is not cool.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's fucking, and Insomniac, dude. We got so much to even talk about them. But back onto Rockstar. Dude, the amount of shit that got leaked though because of all the leaks and the source stuff. There was like a Bully 2 that was canceled, a GTA set, and apparently in Tokyo that was canceled. There was a GTA. I don't know if it was like a DLC that was supposed to be set in the same city as GTA 4. There was so fucking much.
Yeah.
That we're just not gonna get because of how successful GTA Online was and continues to be.
Yeah, I was about to say was. That shit still is. Very much
like,
still is.
I would even say it's probably going to get even more so. It's going to get even crazier. So it's just kind of... It's apparently some source code for even GTA 6 was included in the... I don't know, some crazy... There's like so much out there, man, that it's like... It's... I don't know, man. I feel terrible for those devs, but it's also like... just, I don't want to say funny because it's not funny, but it's just crazy. The whole situation's just fucking crazy.
I think it's funny in the sense that it's 10 years later.
Yeah,
10 years later,
true.
like so long after release, we have the source code. And it's funny because it's for a lot of games, or not a lot of games, but for a good many games, 10 years later, getting the source code for the game, it'd be like, it would suck for the devs, obviously, but like, it wouldn't be nearly the news that it is for GTA 5 because GTA 5 is still obscenely popular.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, it genuinely really is, man. That whole situation's just wild.
It is. But I mean, Rockstar's had a rough go of it for the past 2 years, honestly. But hey, GTA 6 in 2025, bud. That's all I know.
And GTA 7 in 2050.
Yeah, and GTA 7 literally when I'm like 45 years old. It's gonna be depressing.
See, he's not kidding. Yeah, that's probably the reality.
That is just upsetting. But hey, Lady Foxfire, what's up? Oh, I didn't even shout. Okay, Back from the Dead, Vort, appreciate you guys for stopping by. Lady Foxfire, appreciate you for stopping by. Merry Christmas, of course, and happy holidays. Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you guys. I was telling Mike before the show. I'm not really here today. I'm tired.
Actually, I'm sorry, Michael.
I'm tired. I've got brain fog. I don't know what's going on. This show's is going to be a little bit messy today, but we're going to make it work. We're going to have as much fun as we could possibly have. Let's see what else was here in this thing, because
I gotta address the chats. Address the chats. Lady Foxfire said she finally got an Xbox Series X.
Nice. That is awesome.
What did you have before? Do you have an S or a PlayStation? I don't know the lore.
No, I believe Lady Foxfire. Let us know in the chat, Lady Foxfire. But I believe she was on Xbox One. I could be incorrect about that.
Wow.
But let us know in the chat, Lady Foxfire. Ham, I appreciate you for showing up, but and it's no worries. We kind of knew you were off with the
Had
family.
family stuff.
Yeah, you're hanging out with the family. I mean, it's the holidays. You're already doing shows this week. Let's give you a show that you don't have to do this week. Let's give you a day where you can
Yeah.
relax a little bit. So yeah, it's no big deal, but it is no big deal. PC, she's been on PC and the Xbox One X for a while. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, PC's great. The One X is still surprisingly good for what it is. That's not bad.
Hell yeah, though. That's awesome. That's really great. I'm happy for you. That's massive.
Yeah,
I'm
the
also on PC
the
and
Series
Xbox,
X
so.
is a jump. It's really cool. I remember getting the Series X at launch, and then like I have the One X, and then because I think the last game I played on my One X was God, what was it? I can't remember. It might have been like Forza Horizon 4, maybe. And then I got the Series X, and I played Forza Horizon 4 at 4K 60 FPS versus 1080p 60 or 4K 30 on the One X, and it was just it was a whole different thing. It was like an entirely different game at that point. But that's awesome. It's welcome to next gen. You know, I'm still calling it next gen. It's next
Yeah, I
gen
don't
until we get the new consoles, Mike. It's next gen.
I
Then
don't
that's
even blame
next
you.
gen.
In the next.
Exactly. So let's see here. Oh, a little bit of a retrospective this year. Ham says it makes the One feel slow as shit in every aspect. That's the thing. If you have the One X, you're fine until you get the Series X, and then you try to go back to the One X, and then you're like, this is not good. This is not good. It does kind of put in perspective how fast the Series X is or new consoles are, and how slow the One X was, or the One or the PS4 or whatever. Puts it in perspective. But speaking of perspective or retrospectives or whatever, I wanted to do this, and I'm gonna ask you this next week because it's an interesting question. I want to ask you, Mike, of the games you've played this year, and you know what? It can be old games. It can be old games. You're talking about Blood a lot lately, obviously.
Yeah.
What would you say the top? Let's give it five. I feel like five is easy. What are the top five games you've played this year? New, old, whatever the case may be.
I'm gonna try to do new first because I play so much fucking retro shooters and stuff, but everything will be like something that came out like 1990 fucking 7 or 2000 or 2000. But not mean they're not great games, but I want to try to talk about stuff that's
Sure.
more so new. Top games I've played. Starfield. Adored Starfield. Turbo Overkill was fantastic. That's a great
Still need to play it.
boom.
Have it downloaded.
That's a great boomer shooter that is very much in the same vein as Doom Eternal. It's very much about quick switching, all about the movement. Move, you don't get hit, or pray you don't get hit as hard because you're moving. Warhammer Bolt Gun. I
Oh,
really enjoyed
nice.
I really enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy as well. I was actually really surprised by that because I don't give a fuck about Harry Potter at all. But when I saw gameplay originally, I can't tell you how much I do not give a fuck about that IP.
I'm the
Like I
same.
just say every
Yeah.
time, like every time I would see like the movies come on, and no offense to anyone that likes them, I understand. But pardon me, sorry, my phone just started to go crazy. But when I saw the game, I'm like, hey, this actually looks kind of cool, and I was really surprised at how much I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Um,
Mhm.
Diablo 4, I don't even want to know how many hours, and I can't even tell you because the Blizzard launcher doesn't fucking tell you. And I guess, what else have I played? I feel like I played so much this year that I'm just forgetting things. And Remnant 2.
I was gonna say I'm surprised you haven't said Remnant 2.
Remnant 2 is genuinely a masterpiece, and I highly recommend on whatever platform you're on, PC, Xbox, PlayStation, go and play that game in any way you can. It is a Souls, kind of like a Souls-like shooter. It's very accessible though. There's multiple difficulty options. It's still tough as balls though, no matter what you play it on, especially if you're not used to the genre. But I found it, as a person that doesn't like Souls games that much, I found it very approachable. for our first playthrough. And I thought it was fantastic. Me and Ham when Ham gets back, I'd love to go back to playing some more Remnant 2 on our Nightmare difficulty playthrough, so we can get to Apocalypse. So then I'll buy the DLC. But yeah, I think I listed off 5, right? I think.
You've listed off. I think you've listed off 6 at this point. And that's another game I need to play with you guys is Remnant, because I'm working on this whole backlog thing and trying to actually focus on a single game at a time. Remnant is another one that I would like to have off my list. Just so I don't have to think about it, and then whenever I do want to play it, I can actually play it for fun and not be trying to catch up to you guys all the time. Yeah. So I want to do that also. But you okay? So that's your list. Let's see. Vort says he has to go. He'll just assume the rest of the podcast is good. That's a smart assumption. Honestly.
Thank you.
The rest of the podcast will be maybe the greatest thing YouTube's ever seen. So appreciate you for stopping by, Vort. You can check out the greatest thing you'll ever see later. It'll be here on the channel. You can check that out whenever you want. But appreciate you for stopping by as always. My top 5 this year is in no particular order.
Halo Infinite 5 times.
Yeah, right. Alan Wake 2, Starfield. Particular order. 1 and 2 was Alan Wake 2 and Starfield. But after that, no particular order. God. It's hard not to say Diablo 4 because of how much time I put into it when it came out. Like, I put a gross amount of time into it. But then I never really touched it again.
I mean, dude, we played that shit like our lives depended on it for like a solid month. Like, I think I've never put that much time into a multiplayer game that quick. Like,
exactly.
That was disgusting. We were freaks of nature.
Ham says Baldur's Gate 3. I need to get back into Baldur's Gate 3. But the thing is, Ham, I keep trying to focus on, like right now I'm on Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll tell you what, if Guardians of the Galaxy came out this year, that would be in my top 5 games of the year. Easy. Probably my top 3. It'd be like Alan Wake 2, Starfield, and then Guardians of the Galaxy. Because Guardians of the Galaxy is legit, I'm not kidding, the best superhero game I've played since Batman. And I'm not even joking about that. That game's fucking incredible. But Baldur's Gate 3, what I've played of it, the story is really, really phenomenal. I'm starting to understand the turn-based combat. I could put that in my top 5. I could...
You could do a lot of things. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I could do a lot of things. I could put that in my top 5, maybe. Let's see. Well, that would be 3 games. That's Alan Wake 2, Starfield, Baldur's Gate 3. Let's see. I'm gonna go Dead Island. I go Dead Island.
Oh my
2.
god! Why did I forget Dead Island? That game kicked ass. Sorry.
Yeah, Dead Island 2 is there.
I got excited.
And then the final one. Don't forget Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is definitely up there. And that's kind of what I'm battling with right now. Do I give it to Hi-Fi Rush? Yeah. Oh my god, Atomic Heart was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, this year was insane.
I thought Atomic Heart was late last year for some reason.
I mean, because didn't it come out in February?
It did come out in February. That's nuts.
That's probably why.
Yeah. Okay, so... Okay, we got Alan Wake 2, Starfield, Baldur's Gate 3, Hi-Fi Rush, and Dead Island 2. We'll go with that. I feel like Remnant 2 would be up there too if I beat it, but I haven't beat it yet. But I really do enjoy Remnant 2 as well. Dead Space was not. That's one I wanted to put on there. Well, Ham put it in the chat. Ham put Dead Space in the chat. And I'm like, that's one I wanted to put on there, but also
Resident Evil 4 remake was also really good.
I haven't even beat it. Like, that's another game. I need to beat it.
I got it for my birthday last year as my one present to myself, and I haven't beaten it.
Yeah, I that's same here. I got it for my birthday. Didn't beat it. Played it.
Yeah, Matt's
It's
birthdays are like a
fun.
week apart, by the way, which makes it even funnier.
Exactly. Like it's a super fun game, but I haven't beat it yet, so I need to before I can make a judgment on that. But Dead Space was fucking phenomenal. That game is just. If we're putting we said it a month ago at this point, but if we're putting remakes in the Game of the Year category, Dead Space 2, I mean Dead Space 2, Dead Space should have been there instead of Resident Evil for me.
Dead Space 3.
Yeah, remake Dead Space 2. What are we doing? Please be on that, EA. Please. Spider-Man 2, no thank you, Ham. That was a fantastic game, but it is not in my top 5 for this year.
Spoken.
Forspoken.
Oh, God, Ham's being Ham right now.
Forspoken, Forspoken.
Oh
I actually started Forspoken, Ham. I got that for Christmas. My mom got me that. I told her I wanted a game for PlayStation. Yeah, I wanted a game for PlayStation and a game for Xbox. And I let her know that the one game for PlayStation that I haven't really played is Forspoken. And so she got that and also got AC Mirage on Xbox. But let's see. Oh man, I wanted to say there was one more question that I wanted to ask, but of course I didn't write it down, so I forget. But
we're talking about top 5 games of the year.
yeah, and I wanted to ask you. We'll go to the question that I do remember. Is what games? So 2024 is going to be pretty crazy, or at least it should be, by all things that we know so far. What games are you most looking forward to in 2024, and what games do you think aren't announced for 2024? Do you think we will see in 2024? And I'll give you an example. I was on bullsitting last week with Ham, Loke, and Cozy, and all them, and it came up. That question came up, and I said Clockwork Revolution.
For next year, what am I most excited for?
Can be one game, can be 2 games, can be as many as you want, honestly.
That is actually a really tough one. I feel like I know this kind of sounds stupid, but like my like excitement levels for games are so different now. I feel like I'm almost not really excited until like I see it almost. And I know we've seen Clockwork, and I know we've seen. I don't think Clockwork's coming out next year, to be honest with you.
Well, that was my no, they didn't confirm that. That was my surprise.
Okay.
That's like one thing that would be a surprise, but I think is possible to come out next year. Is Clockwork.
I mean, I guess you could say is Avowed. I love RPGs. I love swinging a sword. I love casting spells.
Yeah.
I love that shit. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of boomer shooters coming out. If anyone doesn't know me that is currently watching, my main games are retro first-person shooters, boomer shooters, like Doom, or modern ones like Doom Eternal and things kind of along those lines. So I'm not really kind of like the typical player base of a lot of things. So yeah, like there was a time, Matt, where like I remember on Game Drain. I mean, it still happens. I'll be like, "What are you doing? What have you been up to, Mike? Doom Eternal? What have you been up to, Mike? Doom Eternal?"
And next year it's gonna be The Last of Us Part 2.
Get the fuck out of here. Also, wait a minute. I've been playing a little bit of The Last of Us because you gifted it to me on PC.
Fuck yeah, bud. I'm getting you ready for The Last of Us Part 2 coming to PC later next year, bud.
I'll play it. I will play it. I will play it.
Ham says the Horizon Zero Dawn remake. Get out of here with that shit.
Get out of
Nobody.
That's funny.
Nobody wants that. It's already on PC. It doesn't. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Well, I honestly don't know what else I was about to say. What else were we saying?
You're fine. But, if that's it, then I can.
I feel like there's more though coming out next year that I just can't pull out of my head, and it's making me kind of frustrated because I know like next year there's a lot coming out, but really it's Avowed, and there's more, and I don't know why. I'm excited for the new Diablo DLC. I'm pretty sure they said it's coming out late 2024.
Yeah,
it's an expansion pack. I love Diablo 4 so much as it frustrates me, and Matt has been one to hear me quite angry in voice calls when playing that game. Um,
I have.
but Matt's very unfortunate to hear me mad playing essentially any video game that has ever came out. But um, Matt will be just like relaxed, and I'm like, I'm just like freaking out, and then I'm like, all right, I'm good now. But
Yeah.
that's some very much a Michael trait when playing games. Yeah, but really, it's just Avowed. I would be excited to see Clockwork Revolution that comes out. Um, I feel like Xbox has so much coming out technically in 2024. I mean, apparently, like the new COD's supposed to be one that's been in development for like 3 or 4 years now, which is a long time for Call of
Yeah.
Duty. So, like a crazy long time for Call of Duty. So we'll
Yep.
see.
We
We'll
we
see.
we will. I mean, for my list, I go. Ham mentioned it in the chat. I go Hellblade 2. I really loved Hellblade. Hellblade 2 looks. We haven't really played. We don't know until we get hands on, but it looks to be an improvement in every possible way. So I don't see why I wouldn't love that. I go Dragon's Dogma 2. Because Ham told me about Dragon's Dogma and I thought it was something I wouldn't like. I booted it up, I played it, and it's really really good. It's a really good game. Uh, Ham says South of Midnight. I'm not going to acknowledge the mid and the bunch of periods there, but South of Midnight also rumored for 2024. I'm interested to see what that is. I think Compulsion's like probably one of Xbox's, not probably, I think it's one of their most unique studios. I feel like they have a lot of creativity and they've never had the budget to do what they want to do. Granted, I don't think South of Midnight's going to be a huge AAA fucking thing,
It
but it's going to be super creative. It looks like. Uh, let's see what else. Avowed, you said. I'm definitely hyped for Avowed. Uh, I'm gonna stick with Clockwork Revolution. I'm excited for Clockwork Revolution whenever it comes, probably 2025. But if it comes in 2024, I'm excited regardless. Uh,
okay.
and God, I don't know. I don't know. Those are the games. Those are the games I'm excited for. There's going to be a lot more, honestly, and we'll see as the year goes on. I think also we'll probably. I think it's safe to assume that the new thing for Xbox is having a developer direct at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
every year, and hopefully they do that this year or next year,
Every
technically.
year. Do you ever see Hot Fuzz? I can't remember if you're the one that's seen Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. I saw like
Yep.
a little bit of that on Comedy Central one time.
Oh my God. All right, never mind. I was gonna
I
quote something from it. Never mind. That movie's so good,
haven't
dude.
seen it because Comedy
You
Central is great, but they never really like you never really see a movie like that on Comedy Central because it's all censored.
it's oh, dude, like literally every other line. It's like Shaun of the Dead. Dude,
Yeah, it's
those.
all
Oh my
censored.
God, Simon Cowell and Nick Frost are so goddamn funny. Um, but so, do you want to almost get into the meat and potatoes talking about
The meat
is
and
British
potatoes.
ham? I will throw you. You know what? Not just meat, potatoes, and ham because we're gonna get rid of ham from what he just said.
We call it
Anyways,
the Middish comedy.
the middish comedy. Oh my God. But to talk a little bit about more about maybe what's going on with
PlayStation.
PlayStation and the leaks with Insomniac and yada yada yada.
Sure. I mean, there was also rumor over the past week that, or since me and him did our last show, that a PlayStation studio could possibly get shut down. There's no specifics. Doesn't mention any specifics. In fact, I have an article here. I wonder if this is it actually from. Oh my God! Can I get my cursor over there? From IGN, it says Sony reportedly pressured its studios to make big cuts amid increasing development costs. And this is something I definitely want to talk about. And we talked about it a little bit on Game Drain and Bullsitting, and me and Ham have talked about it. But just the idea that PlayStation, whatever PlayStation's doing right now, it doesn't seem to be working with like big budget super high budget games. It's like, and also there was a rumor that they would maybe be doing some smaller games in between the bigger games, and I kind of feel like that's Ham Solo in the chat says, I bet it's Medium Molecule, makers of Sackboy. Here's the thing, that would suck, but I wouldn't be too surprised. Because Sackboy doesn't seem like a thing that Sony cares about right now. They certainly don't care about Little Big Planet. They definitely don't care about that. And Sackboy, they brought it to PC. It didn't sell. Probably because they didn't bring it the same day that it released on PlayStation. But it's like, I feel like they kind of know that the audience, as loyal as it is, it's not a huge audience. And they're probably looking at that studio like, hey, can you do things that aren't Little Big Planet or Sackboy? And if you can't, then we might have to cut you, but I don't know.
So I want to, if it's all right, give a quick random little opinion.
You can say whatever you want, but
let's go. Anyways,
let it fly.
But seriously, it's like so on a game level, right? Is there a formula of being big budget? Like if we're talking about a quality of a game, is it working? Like of the product itself, absolutely. Wonderful reviews, beloved by X amount of people. Depends on how much it sells, of course. They're making objectively incredible, even if the games I don't care about, because I'm not very big into third-person games at all. Even though the original Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time, that was like one of the very few games where I beat that game 5 or 6 times on every single difficulty. That game will always be special to me because it kind of got me to slow down and appreciate being wrapped into a world. And I got to go back to playing it on PC because I played it for like 2 hours the other day and I was like, wow, this game just is still incredible. The intro I think is aged even better personally.
Yeah.
And it also kind of comes from the time period where the intro is kind of quick too because they know, people have short attention spans like me. Anyways, so I think like on a game review wise, like these games are working tremendously. But and it comes to profitability, and I'm trying to think of the correct terms because these games are selling, but according to what we're hearing, it's just not enough. And even Insomniac right now are about to be facing have to cut down a little bit on their own on their own studio, and they just delivered them their best-selling game of the year that absolutely freaking crushed it with reception from fans and sales.
Yep.
But it's just, once again, these games are so expensive that it's just, it's hard. You can't just trust to constantly have a hit like that. It isn't realistic, and the pressure is going to be on these teams to deliver just essentially only nothing but profit from the beginning type game and that kind of experience. And I can't imagine the amount of stress a developer must feel with that. Which is, just to say real quick, to talk about the Last of Us factions and all of that, because I feel like it ties in. Sure. It's just one of the reasons why Sony, it was one of the reasons why Sony heads were like, we need live service games now. That's probably one of the reasons they bought Bungie, is because they saw them as someone that can overview their live service future. They didn't realize though that that Bungie kind of was dealing with its own diarrhea at the back door. They kind of, even though it's kind of stinking, it wasn't really apparent yet just how much there was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, hopefully they can write their own shit though, because
I hope so. I really hope so.
I really don't want Bungie to just I just don't want that for them. I just want them to be, I want them to strive. But I mean, it's one of those reasons why PlayStation was kind of just making so many live service games. Like, how many were they making? Like, wasn't it something like they had upwards of nearly 10?
Yeah, I think Ham and Loke said it last week on their show. I think it was 12.
Dude, that's just insane to me. And I told you, Matt, once, I don't know why they didn't just get half those teams, like, at least a good number of those people to work on The Last of Us faction. That's your IP. It just got a fantastic TV show that I still need to watch, but I hear it's great.
It
It's
is.
hard to get me to sit down and watch anything really. If I'm
Yeah.
not running forward and shooting a gun in a video game, I don't want to be sitting. But dude, it's so bad. But what was I gonna say? I feel like it's just them. They're kind of like in this weird panicky situation where they have objectively great games. They're very well made with content, with story. Doesn't matter how I feel about the slowly walking or the talking or the cutscenes. Like, I know I am not the majority when it comes to these things. And that's just is what it is. I have my own little niche and I just kind of sit in it. But PlayStation has been kind of throwing these darts at everything and hoping one of these live service games sits or hits. I think they said the other day that like how many of their games got pushed into next, like or like got delayed by at least a year or indefinitely, I should say. It was like half of them. And
Yeah, it was
now
half of their
Bungie,
live service things.
half of them, and now Bungie's having issues, and that's like their guaranteed profit income. Um,
Yeah.
and this goes back to Sean Layden when he said it himself. We need more smaller games in between for this to continue. Sean Layden, and people got mad at him for it, but he's right,
Yeah, he's
because
100% right.
having these massive big budget games all the time, one is, I can't imagine how mentally taxing it is on these studios knowing it has to deliver not only in reception but profitability, how long people are actually playing it. I couldn't imagine all that stress on them that has to land. And it's not just Sony that deals with this. I mean, right now Xbox has the luxury of, the whole Game Pass, having the infinite money of
Yeah.
Microsoft, but it's something they have to worry about. It's something every
Hmm.
AAA game has to worry about right now, is balancing how much money it takes to make these games, how profitable is it to yearly make that game. It's I feel like the entire industry right now is kind of like going through it right now, to
Yeah,
put it lightly.
they're all
Um,
finding out. They all need to. I
they're-
feel like every publisher needs to find out, and finding out is gonna suck. But
yeah,
it's something that has to happen
and
because
I go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say because we're talking. I saw a tweet that kind of summed it up perfectly. And I can't remember who it's from, and I'm trying to find it now, and I can't find it. But someone had a tweet. I want to say it might have been Mudahar, maybe, who had a tweet saying Spider-Man 2018 reportedly cost about 80 million to make. Spider-Man 2 cost 315 million. There's nothing in Spider-Man 2 that suggests to me from the outside looking in that should cost that much more than Spider-Man 1 to make. There's absolutely nothing.
And isn't it something like during the Insomniac leaks? Apparently, they leaked how much it costs just to have the Spider-Man IP, and it's like isn't it in the hundreds of millions?
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll try to find it real quick. But that wouldn't surprise me.
And if you want to look at it, while I kind of look it up while I rant about this, and that's one of the reasons why it's just so goddamn unfair. I feel so terrible for Insomniac, beyond words I can explain. They've been not only just carrying PlayStation, I feel like they've been carrying in a lot of ways. I thought I personally am a huge fan of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I bought that kind of on a whim, mostly just to kind of benchmark my PC because it had beautiful ray tracing. The game is just gorgeous, but I actually ended up loving it. I played that all the way through to completion pretty much from the start. Like, I was like, this game's fantastic, even with its weird issues with SSDs and all that. I was still playing it. Yeah, it's just like so as Ham just said in the chat, 300 million is just too much for a 30-hour max game. It is.
Yeah,
And
that's a point I want. I'm glad you brought that up, Pam, because I'm currently playing Guardians of the Galaxy right now. I don't know. I don't know if it's common knowledge. Maybe I'll look it up while I'm talking here. But I can't imagine Guardians of the Galaxy cost 315 million to make. I can't imagine it did. Because like I feel like if it did, that would be something we definitely would have heard about. So like
'Cause that game apparently not only like didn't sell well, it like
yeah,
kind of
like
put that studio in jeopardy, from my understanding, right?
yeah, it's like that, like the whole marketing around that game. Because I remember when we all first started talking, when we were seeing trailers for that game, all of us were like, "Dude, this game is gonna fucking stink."
Yep, I remember that.
Everybody was saying that, not just us. Everybody was saying this game is gonna stink. And then it comes out, and not only does it not stink, it actually turns out that it's really, really, really good.
And really, like, and the developers cared, like, deeply.
Yes,
Like,
yes, very much so. And I look at a game like that, and I'm like, there's no way that game, because I'm playing it. Like I've seen some of the biggest moments in that game, and they're better to me than the biggest moments in Spider-Man. But just looking at them, I'm certain they couldn't have costed more. They couldn't have cost more.
yeah.
Because like the opening scene in Spider-Man 2 is just this big, spectacular, fucking like over the top action scene, like tons of QTEs, tons of anime, like that. I can see why it costs so much, but it's like, does it need to? Is that necessary? When I'm having just as good, if not a better experience with a game, like like a Marvel game that probably didn't cost that much. Is it necessary? I don't know. Maybe you could save some of that money on the cost of the game and put that into marketing. Like I don't know. I don't know. Go ahead, Mike.
No, and that's what makes it that all of it just right now not the most fun position for, I guess you could say, as a whole PlayStation to be in. Is that they're not right now trying to figure out what exactly they want to do and what to lean in on and what they want to focus on or what they want to cut off. I really think, and I genuinely mean this, I think them doing, like, if they want to have like 6 live service games in the work, fine, but I think them going like 12 live service games and no one helping Naughty Dog was probably the biggest, and I genuinely mean this, the biggest mistake they made with their live service game push.
Yeah.
The Last of Us is a incredibly popular IP. There is no reason more studios or more people weren't couldn't
Sensei,
have been more hands-on with
appreciate
it.
you. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry at all. Hi, Sensei. I mean, once again, there could be so much behind the scenes stuff. People saying, well, Naughty Dog wants to focus on single player. I'm like, I get that. I'm not saying I disagree with that. But I feel like it's also because they couldn't juggle it. Like, because they're probably being told, make a multi-$100 million AAA 99% Metacritic game, and now make a multiplayer game where people have to spend money for the rest of their life or whatever, or engage.
Yep.
It's just, it's too much work for a studio that just doesn't do that. I feel like, go on, sorry.
I was gonna say it's too much work for a studio that does do
Yeah.
because I've mentioned this before on the show, on Game Drain, on this show, on Ham's shows. Like, you look at Halo 343 does multiplayer and campaign. Like that's their job. You could even argue the same with the Coalition. They do multiplayer and campaign in one go.
Yep.
Like, even Halo Infinite needed the Coalition to help them get to where they were at launch. Forget about where they are now. Just at launch, they needed the help of a good portion of the Coalition just to get them there. And apparently Sony's trying to make Naughty Dog, hey, figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. That's not good.
It's just, and like, once again, man, it's like, so there was one little piece of information that got leaked out during the whole Insomniac thing, and I want to more so verify it as well as the average playtime per PlayStation game, first party game. I need to verify that though, because I looked at the other ones and I verified what those came from, but I want to look at this one. There's so much FUD on the internet that, like, I feel like everyone knows that at this point, that I don't want to just be spouting random nonsense and you know, just be an absolute jackass about it. But you saw that image, correct? With the average
I
playtime?
saw it actually on Ham's show with Loke just yesterday. They brought it up, and I wish I could find it. In fact, I might go to their stream and fast forward and see if
Actually,
I
I
can.
put in the group. I'm pretty sure I put the image in the group chat just the other
Did you?
day. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Just
I'll look for
scroll
that.
up a little bit.
I'll look for that.
And it kind of just goes back to the, it's really a moment. How can you ever make a significant profit to come for Lego eventually seems like a never-ending Marvel trap. That's the thing right now, Hammond. Like as we were saying earlier, I feel like in general, like even outside of Marvel, even Microsoft at some point, I feel like they've already learned that lesson. But I mean, we know Microsoft is capable of needing to relearn a lesson many
Yes.
over.
Yes.
That certain things are just traps and they're not something to be chased and that you can conquer. I mean, like look at like Epic Games during that whole Epic Games trial. They're saying that Fortnite really isn't enough. The Epic Store isn't profitable. All this crap. So it's like, I don't know, man. I just feel like. Oh, okay. Just to say real quick, I feel like the entire industry. It's not just PlayStation and it's. And I know, some people like to say, oh, it's PlayStation, and I understand because Xbox has plenty of first-party, single-player-only games coming out. I get that, but I feel like it's the industry as a whole. I guess you can say minus Xbox, but I still think they're tied into it. Are kind of going to learn the hard way that these endlessly increasing budgets and it just isn't profitable enough, or it's just not going to work in the long term. I don't know. I'm not a developer though. I don't budget. I cut sandwich meat for a living.
Well,
so
yeah,
it's
but it's just from the outside looking in, it seems like common sense. And even like I know you're kind of hesitant to throw Microsoft in there, but I feel like it's a problem even Microsoft will likely face at some point. Let me bring this back up on my screen so you're not just seeing Task Manager on my screen.
Task Manager, I see that.
Yeah, but it's a problem that I feel like everyone's in a face. And Ham brings up very cleverly the Marvel trap. That's one thing I remember replying to Vinny on one of his tweets talking about the problem with Marvel, Insomniac, and Spider-Man on PlayStation. It's like it's kind of the thing I worry about for Arcane. Like I love Arcane. Like let's say best case scenario, like I have very high confidence that the Blade game is going to be very, very good. I have a super high confidence in Arcane, especially Arcane Leon, that they will nail that game. The problem is if they nail that game, we're not gonna see Dishonored 3 for a very long time. We're not gonna see Deathloop 2 for a very long time. Like because that will make Arcane Leon Xbox's Marvel developer, because usually how that works is they don't just make a deal for here's one game. They usually make it for here's a trilogy.
Yeah.
You're likely looking at 3 Blade games from Arcane Leon if the first one hits the way that I imagine it will. So it's like now they're in a position where it's like, dude, you're spending. Think of, I can't imagine Dishonored 2 took $300 million to make, but Blade probably will, and Blade 2 probably will, if not more, and Blade 3 probably will, if not more. So you're in a position where it's like you could be making these games, these really great critically acclaimed games that cost 50 to 100 million to make, but now you're making Marvel. You're making Marvel now. And that's very costly. That's going to be very costly, especially for someone who has the money that Microsoft has. And you got to believe that Marvel is well aware of the fact that Bethesda's owned by Microsoft, Arcane's owned by Bethesda. So it's like they know how much money they have access to. And it's like they probably have have a target budget in mind for this game. And so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it all unfolds over the next the end of the generation in the next 10 years, honestly, because it's not sustainable. And you mentioned this list of playtime for what we have here is PlayStation titles. It's like you look at a game like pick one here, Horizon Forbidden West. 13 hours per player is the average. That's
That's kind of crazy.
That's not good. I played more than 13 hours and I fucking hate that game. I played more than 13 hours and I absolutely hated all of it. But like
God, I'm gonna be honest with you. Listening to you play that game was one of my favorite experiences like ever. That was just like you were just so unhappy the entire time. It was just like it was.
it wasn't good. It was not good. Ham says in the chat.
Myself just for 1 second, if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead. Ham says difference between Xbox and Sony, in my opinion, is Xbox I think would be willing to let other studios work on Marvel games where Sony will only use Insomniac, and that's the thing. Microsoft's in a position where they have the amount of studios to be like, who wants to work on a Marvel game? Which one of you guys has an idea? Which one of you guys has a pitch? Who wants to do it? Whereas Sony, they look at their stable of studios and it's like, I'm sure Naughty Dog could do a Marvel game, but does Naughty Dog want to do a Marvel game? Does Sony Santa Monica want to do a Marvel game? Does Sucker Punch want to do I bet you Sucker Punch could do a really good Marvel game, but do they want to? I don't know. But there's like enough studios at Xbox. You think of Activision. They have like a long lineage of studios who made Marvel games at one point. You look at Bethesda, Arcane's doing a Marvel game right now. You look at Xbox first party like studios like I'm blanking all of a sudden. The studios like 343, studios like Coalition, studios like what's the studio that they made in 2018? I can never remember the name of it. The Initiative. But like all those studios, you look at those studios, which one of you guys wants to do a Marvel game? You know? I enjoyed his displeasure. Yeah, I was very not pleased playing Horizon Forbidden West. We'll say that much. What's also nuts to me looking at this is hours played for Horizon Forbidden West is higher than God of War 2018. That's just confusing to me. I don't know. God of War 2018 is such an infinitely better game than Horizon Forbidden West. It's confusing to me that people played less hours of that game when that game takes about 30 hours to complete. I can't imagine. I don't know. That's Ham. Like Sucker Punch. Like you think of what they did with I just for some reason almost said Insomniac. You think of what they did with Infamous, dude. They could make a fucking crazy Marvel game, but it's the question of do they want to? And they might not want to. They might want to do Ghost of Tsushima too. I would imagine they probably want to do Ghost of Tsushima too. And so like, yeah, I can see what you're saying. They're definitely in a different position or Xbox is definitely in a different position than Sony in that regard, for sure. Plus, also, Mike said it earlier, Xbox kind of just has infinite money because it's Microsoft. And it's like a lot of people, like that sucks for, like a lot of people think that sucks or whatever, and they think it's unfair or whatever, but it's like at the end of the day, that's just the reality. Like they kind of have infinite money. Like they can afford things that you cannot afford. So yeah, they're in a different position. They're definitely in a different position, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. But I did say this was going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. I want to ask before we get out of here, before I jump to any conclusions, is there anything that you want to add to the episode before we hop out?
Honestly, I have nothing in mind. I had a lot of fun though. I wanted to say that. I appreciate you having me on, especially something pretty last minute. Um,
Appreciate you being on,
uh,
bud.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, not really last minute, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I honestly don't really have much to add on, and I feel like we kind of covered everything. And wow, I
Sounds
really think
good.
that's kind of it on my end.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I need to get out here because I have a pie in the oven and I don't want it to burn.
Yeah, I
So
need some food. I ate at like 6 in the morning and I haven't eaten since, so I'm like, I'm a little hungry.
Ham says more
Sometime.
people probably played God of War. Seems like Sony gamers just don't finish games even if they're short. That's kind of seems like the case. Kind of seems like the case because you didn't finish. There's no way you finished Horizon Forbidden West in 13 hours. There's just no way you didn't do that.
Yeah.
I it took me way longer than that, and I did not do a single side quest. I was focused entirely on that main story just to get it done. But yeah, let's. Oh, Stanley Francois, appreciate you for stopping by. He says, "Great damn show, fellas. Appreciate you, bud,
Thank you.
very much." But yeah, we're gonna hop up out of here. But before we do that, some outros. Mike, you're not on social media right now, but let them know where they can
Yeah.
find you if you want to be found.
I mean, if I mean, really, I have no. Really, right now, I'm kind of done with social media, so I guess you'll be just be finding me here or on the game drain, every Sunday.
Every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That show, by the way, is here on this channel for the foreseeable future. We might move some things around, but for the foreseeable future, that show is here on this channel every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Check that out. Every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm usually here with Ham Solo. Ham's out with his family right now for the holidays, having a good time. And we'll be back to normal next week, obviously. So look forward to that. 2 p.m. Eastern over here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. I don't know why I said 2 p.m. again. But then also Mondays and Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Videos here on this channel, so check those out. We'll be getting back to normal on that. There was no video last Friday and this Monday, but this Friday there will be a video. So we're getting back to normal. Hope you all had an amazing holidays. Hope you guys continue to have an amazing holidays. We're going to get up out of here, and we will see y'all next week. Thank you for watching.
Bye bye.